Happy Wednesday morning, everybody. Starting a little early today. It is Wednesday, June 11th, about 7:30 a.m. Today we're going to talk about a guy named Lev Parnas. He is the father of Aaron Parnas that everyone knows on TikTok, and how he used to be associated with Rudy Giuliani and that whole crew and some of the things that he did that he ended up going to prison for. However, he had a pretty significant and I think pretty legitimate change of heart after that experience, and kind of came over to the anti-Trump side. And from everything I've seen, I believe that to be legitimate for him. It doesn't strike me as being part of a grift or anything like that, you know. And like, I think it was Rachel Maddow who did a documentary about him last year that was pretty fascinating. Anyway, he has a Substack page, and he still has a lot of contacts in Trump world and in that universe from his time being a part of it. And he put out a Substack post a couple of days ago that I think is pretty revealing, that I wanted to go through. For anybody who doesn't know me, my name is Hawk. I'm a trial attorney and a news junkie. And I make fun little videos on TikTok and YouTube. So if you enjoy this video, please click like, leave a comment, subscribe to my page. It's free to do so. And so let's dive in. So first, I mean, I'm not trying to rag on the guy. I just think I think it informs this Substack post of his that I'm going to go through. If you are familiar with his history, I'm not trying to drag his name through the mud or anything like that. But he's in his mid-50s. He's a Soviet-born American businessman. I think he at least had Ukrainian citizenship. He was in Ukraine with his business partner, Igor Fruman, when they got hooked up with Rudy Giuliani. And they were very much involved in using Ukraine contacts to try to create a false Joe Biden Ukraine conspiracy theory. And this was probably like during 2017, 2018, somewhere in that range. And eventually, you know, it kind of led to Trump blackmailing President Zelensky of Ukraine, which led to Donald Trump's first impeachment. And then in October 2021, Lev Parnas was found guilty in a U.S. federal court on 6 counts related to illegal donations to the 2020 campaign of Donald Trump. He was sentenced to 20 months in prison, 3 years of supervised release, and had to pay $2.3 million in restitution. But because he had this change of heart and is now kind of in the anti-Trump camp, I'm sure it will shock you to learn that Donald Trump has not given Lev Parnas a pardon. But he's an interesting guy with an interesting past. And again, you know, I think his reformation to the anti-Trump camp, from everything that I've seen, is legitimate and honest on his part. Anyway, like I said, so it's like he was very, 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 very connected in that entire inner circle at the highest levels of Trump world for many years during Donald Trump's first term and after. And so he put out a Substack a couple of days ago called "Trump's Military Move in Los Angeles Was Just the Beginning. Insiders Reveal the June 14th Plot." And remember, so today's June 11th. So June 14th is this coming Saturday. And that's Donald Trump's little military parade in Washington, D.C. to celebrate his birthday and the birthday of the U.S. Army, ostensibly. It's a Russian, North Korean military parade meant to intimidate the citizens of this country. That's what it actually is. Anyway, Troops in the reading from his newsletter. Troops in the streets, tanks on standby, and plans to crush the resistance. And when I say I or my, I'm reading that from this document. So that's Lev Parnas saying this. My sources inside Trump world say the clock is ticking. Read this before it's too late. I know a lot of you woke up this morning in shock, staring at the footage out of Los Angeles, asking yourselves, how could this happen? Is this real? Is this really happening in the United States of America? But let me be clear, folks, this is real. It is happening, and I need you to know what my sources deep inside Trump world have been warning me, that what we witnessed overnight in Los Angeles was no isolated event. It is part of something much bigger. And what I have to tell you today is chilling. Yesterday, when Donald Trump deployed over 2,000 federal troops into Los Angeles under the justification of restoring order, most headlines ran with it like it was some kind of isolated act of retaliation. Just another example of Trump punishing blue states, and yes, part of this is personal. Make no mistake, this is his revenge against California, against Gavin Newsom, and against Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass. But it's not just about settling scores. This is about control. And so this newsletter came out before the 700 active duty Marines had actually deployed into Los Angeles. And then Donald Trump federalized and activated another 2,000 members of California's National Guard. So a total of 4,000 now. What happened yesterday in Los Angeles was a test run, a dry rehearsal for something much, much bigger. I've been hearing from multiple trusted insiders that Trump's inner circle, particularly Pete Hegseth and some of the more radicalized loyalists embedded at the Pentagon, are actively drafting operational plans for the mass mobilization expected on June 14th. This isn't just about Trump's birthday. This isn't just about another vanity parade. This is about shutting down resistance. Because here's what Trump really fears. Not the media, not Congress, not prosecutors. He fears us, the American public. He fears the American people rising up on June 14th in all 50 states with signs that say no kings, with voices that remind the world that we are still a democracy. Millions are preparing to march, and Trump knows it. That's why he's pushing for tanks. That's why he wants the biggest military display America has seen since the Cold War, because he wants the optics of power. He wants to smother the story before it even begins. He wants his parade to dominate the headlines, not the marchers in the streets fighting for democracy. And remember, Donald Trump said from the Oval Office yesterday that anybody who shows up in Washington, D.C. to protest his little parade, which is a constitutionally guaranteed right under the First Amendment, the right to protest and the right to protest against your government, Donald Trump said that those protesters are going to be met with tremendous force for exercising their constitutionally guaranteed First Amendment rights to gather and protest. They will be met with tremendous force. Back to the newsletter. But I need you to understand this. According to my sources, there are discussions happening right now within Trump's most trusted circle about invoking martial law if the protests get out of hand. They are looking for any excuse, any video, any violence, any disruption. That's all they need to justify a crackdown, and it gets worse. What I'm being told is that Trump allies, including elements connected to Proud Boys, 3%ers, and other far-right militia networks, are planning to infiltrate the June 14th protests, not to support them, but to sabotage them, the anti-Trump protests. Their goal, create chaos, spark confrontation, trigger a response from law enforcement, and then hand Trump the justification he needs to clamp down. Let me say this loud and clear. We cannot give them that excuse. Yes, we must protest. We must be loud. We must show up and be seen and be heard, because silence right now is complicity, but we must do so peacefully. We must stay smart. We must protect each other. Make sure Whether you're planning to protest, whether it's in the streets of New York, Los Angeles, Florida, in your local town square, I ask you to prepare. Know your rights, stay vigilant, do not engage with agitators, document everything, stay within the law, and most importantly, do not let fear win. I think those are important points. That's what they want. They want intimidation. They want fear. They want to provoke us into giving them a reason to declare emergency powers. They want us to fall into retreat. Do not let that happen. The stakes have never been higher. This is not a drill. This is not hypothetical. Trump is testing the limits of his power again, and too many still refuse to believe it. If you're reading this, then you've been following him. Lev Parnas, you've heard me lay it out, how Trump operates, how he manipulates, how he uses fear, division, and false flags to consolidate power. Lev Parnas knows Donald Trump. He knew him very well for many, many years. So I think it's important that we take him at his word on this stuff. I told you his empire is splitting from the inside. I've told you the playbook, and now it's unfolding just like I said it would. The cracks are showing. You've seen what happened with Elon Musk. You see the desperation in Trump's moves. You see how the system is bending under the weight of one man's lust for total control. Now is the moment to take this more seriously than ever. I'll be updating you daily, real updates, real warnings, real information that the mainstream media still refuses to touch. These are insights coming directly from deep within Trump's inner circle. So spread this message far and wide. Hang on. Share it with your friends, share it with your family, your colleagues, your neighbors, post it on every platform you use, forward it to every inbox in your contact list. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe to his Substack page. And I think it is Lev Remembers. So if you just Google Lev Remembers Substack, you'll be able to find his Substack page if you want to follow his updates. This is a fight for our democracy. You still have the power to protest. You still have the power to pressure your lawmakers. You still have the power to vote for now. We'll see. But do it now before that power is taken from you. Stay vigilant, stay careful, but do not stay silent. And he closes with that. So somebody sent me that Substack, and I thought that it was important to share. And he asked in his Substack that we share it. So I'm sharing it with you guys. So you can go find his Substack. Just Google Lev Remembers Substack, and his page will pop right up. And if you want to learn more about Lev Parnas, he's got a wiki page, and there's a documentary out there about him that MSNBC put out last year that was pretty unflinching, I got to say. And so if you enjoyed this video, please click like, please leave a comment, share it with your friends, and please subscribe to my page. My name is Hawk. It is Wednesday, June 11th. Everyone, please stay safe this week. And if you're protesting this Saturday, as I and my brother will be, please stay safe during those protests as well. I'll see you guys soon.